50, after doing the Diddy documentary, is threatening to do a documentary on T.I. and Tiny.
That is go-to now? Documentary?
That's his go-to. What's your take?
Seems like games only black people play.
50 Cent posted a hint at a documentary called Surviving T.I. and Tiny, mentioned 20 allegations, and deleted it before most people even finished reading. Within hours, the entire internet was talking about it anyway. That's not an accident. That's a move. And understanding why it worked requires understanding everything that was already sitting underneath the surface between these two men before a single word of that post was written. The tension between 50 Cent and T.I. goes back almost 20 years. In 2007, T.I. was arrested on serious federal weapons charges, machine guns and silencers, the kind of case that typically ends with a long sentence. What he received was roughly a year. In hip-hop, where the unspoken rules about cooperation with federal authorities carry enormous weight, that outcome drew attention, 50 Cent noticed publicly. Through lyrics and interview comments, he planted implications without always spelling them out directly. The seed of a specific kind of accusation was in the air, and it never fully left. For years, the rivalry stayed in the background. Occasional jabs, nothing explosive, both men building careers in different directions. Then BURSTS gave T1 what looked like the perfect stage to settle things directly, a hit-for-hit battle in front of millions. He challenged 50 publicly and repeatedly. 50 brushed it off each time. By early 2026, T.I. went further. During a podcast appearance, he claimed 50 had privately agreed to the BURSTS and then backed out publicly. That specific claim, not just that 50 declined, but that he agreed first and then disappeared, reframed the entire situation. In hip-hop, why declining a challenge reads as strategy. Agreeing to something and then disappearing reads as something else. I used that framing deliberately, and it landed. That's what set the stage for everything that followed. But to understand why the documentary post hit the way it did, you also need the context of what had already surfaced publicly about T.Y. and Tiny years earlier. In 2021, accusations began circulating online involving the couple. What started as a single claim from entrepreneur Sabrina Peterson spread rapidly. Multiple women with accounts describing situations they said took place over a span of years, at private events and gatherings connected to T.I. and Tiny. Attorneys representing some of the accusers said more than 20 people had reached out with similar experiences. Now, letters were sent to law enforcement in California and Georgia requesting formal investigations. The legal path was complicated. Most of the alleged incidents had occurred years earlier, and prosecutors in multiple jurisdictions determined the statute of limitations had expired. No criminal charges were filed. A civil lawsuit brought in 2024 was eventually dismissed after the plaintiff stopped responding to court filings. T.I. and Tiny denied every allegation throughout. Their statements described the claims as coordinated attempts to damage their reputation, and they maintained that all of their encounters with other adults had been consensual. Legally, nothing moved forward. But publicly, the conversation never fully closed. It faded from the front page without resolution, which meant it remained available, sitting in search results, in people's memory, ready to be reactivated by anyone who wanted to bring it back. 50 Cent understood exactly what that meant. When he posted Surviving T.I. and Tiny, the title did most of the work before anyone read another word. The name Surviving R. Kelly carries a specific cultural weight. That documentary didn't introduce information that wasn't already publicly available. What it did was organize existing allegations into a structured, emotionally compelling format that tens of millions of people watched and responded to. The consequences were severe, lasting. By using a title that directly echoed that series, 50 wasn't making a legal argument. He was making an association. He was asking the public to place T.I. and Tiny in the same mental category as a story they already knew the ending of. That's a specific kind of power that has nothing to do with evidence or courtrooms. The post also mentioned 20 allegations directly, a number that matched what attorneys had referenced during the 2021 wave of accusations. For anyone who remembered that period, the number wasn't random. It connected the documentary hint to something that had actually happened, which made the threat feel grounded rather than invented. And then he deleted it in 2026. Deleting a post from an account with 50 Cent's following does not make something disappear. It multiplies it. Screenshots had already been captured, gossip pages had already reposted it, YouTube channels were already building videos around it before the deletion was complete. The removal itself became part of the story. people immediately asked why he deleted it, which led to two interpretations that both served his purpose. Either something real was coming and he was being cautious about announcing it too early, or he had planted the idea deliberately and was now watching it grow without his continued involvement. Neither interpretation required a documentary to exist. That's the architecture of the move. By posting and then deleting, he created a situation where the internet did all the promotional work for something that may not be a real project at all. No production budget, no filming schedule, no network deal, just a title, a number, and a deletion, and the conversation ran for days. It also put T.I. in a position that has no clean exit. If he ignores it, people interpret the silence as something. If he responds aggressively, he keeps the story alive. If he's measured and calm, people read the restraint as evidence that there's something he doesn't want examined. There's no version of his response that doesn't extend the conversation, and 50 knew that when Ty chose to respond, and he responded with everything he had. He went to Instagram with family photos and direct shots at 50. He started releasing music. Tracks, including material he framed as part of his album Kill the King, began hitting the internet in quick succession. His posture throughout was confident rather than defensive. He framed the situation as competition rather than threat, at one point challenging 50 directly to go bar for bar, hit for hit, or doc for doc. That last phrase was his way of signaling that he wasn't treating the documentary as something uniquely dangerous, that he saw it as another arena in a competition he was already winning in his own mind. The music rollout worked in the sense that his name stayed trending for reasons other than the allegations. He turned attention into promotion, which is a veteran's move. But King Harris's involvement added a layer that changed the emotional temperature of the entire situation. When 50 posted unflattering content about Tiny, King responded, and his response escalated past the boundaries most people recognize as the outer limit of rap beef. He referenced 50 Cent's late mother, who was murdered when 50 was 8 years old and later appeared in a music video wearing a shirt with her image. T.I. acknowledged the moment directly, saying that while he respected his sons wanting to defend their mother, the shirt was the point where a line had been crossed. His tone in addressing it was different from the confident energy he'd shown elsewhere, quieter, more deliberate. That moment shifted the feud from professional competition into something more emotionally complicated. It wasn't just about catalogs or credibility anymore. As of now, no documentary titled Surviving T.I. and Tiny has been officially announced, confirmed by a network, or given a release date. There is no verified production in progress. What exists is a screenshot of a deleted post and the enormous conversation it generated, which raises the most interesting question in the entire situation. What if the post was the whole plan? The 50 Cent has operated this way before, not always in the same format, but with the same underlying logic. Create a moment, let the internet amplify it, step back while the conversation grows without any further investment. He didn't need to spend money on a production, he didn't need to spend time on a rollout. He needed one post and a deletion, and the machine ran itself. The 2021 allegations were already in public memory. The BURSTS tension had already been reactivated. The Surviving R. Kelly Association was already loaded. All he did was pull those threads together into a single moment that lasted less than a day online and generated weeks of conversation. Whether a documentary eventually exists or not, the goal was attention and pressure, and both arrived without a single frame of footage being shot. That's a different kind of warfare than hip-hop has typically operated on. It's not about who has the better bar or the bigger catalog. It's about who controls what people are thinking about and for how long with the least effort. By that measure, the deleted post was one of the most efficient moves in this entire feud. Do you think 50 Cent is actually developing this documentary, or was the deleted post the entire strategy from the beginning? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe for more breakdowns on the real moves behind hip-hop's biggest stories.